Another thing, actually, that I'm trying to understand just now is because you did make mention of the salvational religion, no?
Yes, yes,
The
salvation religion.
Okay, so I don't know if you want to expand on that a little bit because I'm trying to see if there is any connection between ancient Kemet spirituality, the Abrahamic religion, for example.
Yes, there is a connection because the same schema of salvation is found in the Abrahamic religion and in mostly in Christianity and in the religion of ancient Egypt. The Osiris Ani was an Osiris, a child of God, potentially. And in the beyond, he claims the right to be a child of God, an Osiris in a manifest way. Now we found the same schema in the Bible in the first epistle of John, chapter 3, verse 1 to 3, where we are said that we are children of God and we shall be children of God in heaven. But for us to be children of God in heaven, we have to purify ourselves. We share the same schema. It means that we are children of God potentially. We shall be so in a manifest way if we purify ourselves. So the same schema was used. What does it mean? It means that those who wrote the Bible has has stolen the material of the Egyptian and the Sumerian, because the Sumerian and the Egyptian belong to the same culture. So what we have in the Bible is only a stolen. It was stolen from the culture of Sumer and from the culture of ancient Egypt. The Greek first did that, and then the Roman. The Roman copied things in the library of Alexandria, and after having copied, they burned the library, but they didn't know that all those things that were written in the library were also in the tombs. So they were there. They could be found there.
So the burning of the library, could it actually be an accident or was it a deliberate act? Is there anything we can trace to that? Because that is an important part now.
We think that it was done deliberately in order to hide the truth, because they knew that they were making copies. If you make copies, then your intent will be to destroy the original in order for you to hide your cheating. So we think that it was intended to hide the truth. And the same schema was used for the African culture. We have been told, that, for example, that the black people didn't have books, the black people didn't have scriptures before the arrival of the colonizer. Now, this is false. For example, for the Kingdom of Congo, when the colonizers, the Portuguese came, the first thing they did was to burn our books. Do we know that at that moment the books were the parchment, and the parchment was very expensive, so that they were just few, and they did burn them after they came with the story that we didn't have any scripture, we didn't have books. So you see, the same schema was used over and over by the white people. They destroy your culture, and they come later to say that you didn't have it.
I would like you to spend some time there because the British now, after the invasion of Benin, what they call the Punitive War, they also burned down Benin City and they destroyed the artifacts. Of course, after they have stolen a lot from me, they burned down the rest. And of course, many Europeans will now come to say, these people do not have any history. After the same people have destroyed it. So tell me a little bit more about this deliberate attempt to destroy. Of course, it is difficult now to destroy the pyramid, so they have to claim it as part of Western culture, not an African culture. They didn't manage to destroy the the great Zimbabwe. That one must have been made by some Jews that are roving around in Africa, some European who were lost in Africa. There was even a speculation that the ancient world of Benin, at one time, it was said to be the lost city of Atlantis, that the people of Benin were just there by accident, even though the wall was actually built by the Benin people to protect them from enemy and many other things. So tell me more about this, the burning of the books in Congo. I think we need to talk more about this. Yes.
You are speaking of Benin. Do you know that the Benin people did have the hieroglyph? They did have a scripture, a way of writing, which is similar to the Egyptian, but which is not the same. So their history was written by using that way of writing. But all of this has been destroyed. If you read the first book written by a white people about the Congo Kingdom, the book is called A Report of the Kingdom of Congo by Pigafetta. If you read that book, in that book he says that when the European people arrived in the Kingdom of Congo, they convinced the king that their religion was the right one. And the black people religion and their statues were only superstitious things that had to be burned. But Pigafetta mentions that they did not only burn the artifacts, they did burn also books of magic. So we have to ask ourselves, to whom belong those books of magic? They could not belong to the white people because they were supposed to burn only black people things. And they were new arriving people. So those books of magic belonged to the black people. Now, we know that when the European came to Africa, they had the knowledge of the paper, while the African people and mostly the bunch of people didn't know about the use of the paper. They knew only the use of the parchment, so that when the white people showed to them the paper book, the Congo people said, it is a skin. So they called it a skin, which means Nkanda. So they could not call it a skin if they didn't have the skin which they used for writings. So you see, we had books. The Benin people had writings. All of this has been destroyed. The schema of the white people was to destroy in order to say that we didn't have something like that. Now, I'm staying in Brazzaville. If you go in the north of the Congo Brazzaville, they will tell you the history of a traditional practitioner. I forgot his name. He was living in a town called Enyele. Now, in Enyele, that guy was performing a surgery, a traditional surgery. He opened the belly of someone. As he was operating, a white man arrived. It was in the colonial time. The white man arrived, and he was astonished that nobody cared about coming to welcome him. But he saw everybody made in a circle and someone was inside performing something. So he came near and he saw that That guy was operating someone, practicing a surgical intervention. So after he finished, he took away the disease. He put two leaves of a tree, and the wound disappeared. So you know what the white man did? He arrested that man, that physician, traditional physician, and he told him, "You must show me what you did." So they arrested him, they tortured him in order for him to show to them what he did. And later on, the man was found dead.
All right, this is what we are talking about. The European cultural genocide in Africa. Of course, nobody ever think of that there is a genocide in Africa. In fact, the genocide against African people are with S, genocides, to eradicate our culture.